TV, and today we get to hear about one of the largest events that comes to Central Mississippi that utilizes the Natchez Trace. That is the Natchez Trace Century Ride. Joining us is Ben McDonald. He's with Ridgeland's Recreation and Parks and has to coordinate all of this. Well, it's you and a bunch of other people. It's not just you, right, Ben?
Right. Yeah. Thanks, Rebecca. It's a team effort, and yeah, we're in our 25th year of this ride. So it's not like I just joined the city and all of a sudden this thing exploded. So it's been going on for a while.
No pressure then, so don't screw it up.
No pressure. I feel it, yeah, but we've got a great team with the Recreation and Parks Department, our Public Works Department, Community Development. Everybody pitches in, and with close to 1,000 riders, it takes all of that plus a lot of volunteers from around the area. And I've been able to ride in it as a participant, and now I'm on the other end, sort of making sure things happen. So it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Moving from a rider to a coordinator, what were you most surprised to learn about behind the scenes of putting it on?
A lot of permits. There's a lot of cost involved that as a rider you just take for granted. You don't see everything that goes into putting it on from the back end versus the front end. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't say overwhelming, but it's been a learning experience. But it's
Did
been
they just
great.
throw you a big binder? It said Century Ride and said good luck?
Sort of. But Wendy Bourdin had been with the city for, I guess 25 years. She retired and she left a lot of good notes. So it wasn't just like go in your office and do it. It's a team effort, and I've had some good cheat sheet cliff notes.
And the good thing, 2.5 decades later, the city, all of the Natchez Trace, everybody's kind of aware of what's coming up. It's not like you're trying to create this from scratch, but obviously it's popular. Something like this to last for 2.5 decades and draw that kind of crowd, people look forward to it. And it's a little bit different because you think about even just a marathon that's only 26 miles and it's over in a little while. We're talking about, at the longest, taking up 100 miles.
Right. 100 miles is the longest distance, and if you just want to come out a little bit, you can do the 8-miler, 25, 50, or 62. But you talk about support. Our mayor has been riding for decades. He may have ridden every one, but it's...
Who's your mayor?
Gene McGee. So it's really cool when you have a mayor that rides, and he doesn't just get on his bike and kind of pedal around for photo shoots. I mean, he's doing the real deal. So, but yeah, also having the support of all the agencies around the reservoir, PRV, the National Park Service, Rankin County SO, Madison County SO, Reservoir Patrol, City of Ridgeland. There's a lot involved. Like I said, a lot of permits, but I'm glad there are a lot of people involved so that, we have that help, and one little mess up on my end won't screw it all up.
What? You are just really trying to lay the groundwork of like, something screws up, it's not my fault.
That's right. You heard it here first.
So what makes the city of Ridgeland geared specifically for this? Is the perfect place to sort of host something like a 100-mile bike ride?
It is, with the reservoir, obviously, and the Natchez Trace. We're lucky to have that coming through here. But Ridgeland is also a bicycle-friendly community, and having the Natchez Trace Century Ride here helps with that status, and it kind of plays off of each other. So we have a lot of people that come from, all the surrounding states and even further, up into like New York and Minnesota, California, Texas, whatever it might be. So as you were saying, it's been around for a while. Word's gotten out. It has a reputation. And, we also have a lot of help from our tourism office, Explore Ridgeland. They help people who haven't been here before, maybe doing their first one. Hey, where should I stay? And of course you can look at maps, but it helps to have somebody that's here that knows the logistics in the area and has been here and can help people. So again, team effort. And I brought a medal. I know we haven't talked about this.
No, yeah.
People probably can't see.
Sure, they can. Hold it right up there.
So this is our...
Other way. Face me. There you go. There. Yep.
So being that it's on May the 4th...
that's cool.
We're playing off of the Star Wars theme, although we kind of have to watch copyright laws and that sort of thing. So
I'm going to guess he's not. He's not.
They can be litigious, can't they?
Right, yeah. So,
although I did learn that Luke Skywalker goes into public domain in like 40 or 50 more years, something like that. And so that's a whole other thing I learned over the weekend.
So the next generation.
The next generation, when you pass down your binder, Ben, you tell them to check to see if it's in public domain, and they can do whatever they want to.
That's right.
No, but I think that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So incorporating that, Star Wars theme, and Explore Ridgeland's on there. The bike crossing, a local business, one of our big sponsors. So when you get to events like this, you need help from sponsors and volunteers, and of course people that get paid and don't get paid and all that. So it's a big effort. But
do you have, like, out of the distances, that's 8 miles, 25 miles, 50 miles, why 62? I have to ask, why not 60?
So we call that the metric century. So
Okay.
it's 100K.
Getting
So obviously if you say I did 100 on a bike,
they're going to say which one.
Right, miles or K, but you could just say I did 100 and
then you're not lying.
I mean, 62 on a bike is still impressive, right? So whether you want to do 100 miles, 100K, or if you just want to do 8 miles.
Is there an opportunity to hop, like, to change your mind, take back seats if you get on the 100-mile loop, or is it like 50 miles back and then like 50 miles?
No, the 50-miler, I believe, is an out and back. So, if
there's no take back seats.
If you get 25, you got
to get 25 back.
But with the 62 and 100, it kind of winds around through Rankin, Madison counties and the Trace. So there are places where, if you're like, yeah, it's not my day, you can bump down. And you can even do that pre-ride if you're like.
Is it the same route every year, or do you all come to make a different route? Because I would assume a lot of energy goes into the 100-mile route.
We try to keep it the same, but, things happen when you go out into the county, either county, whatever it could be. There could be issues with roads, and we try to avoid those problem sections. We try to keep it the same for continuity, so people are familiar with the route year after year, but we do consult with the law enforcement agencies and make sure that route is still good to go, because at the last minute we could change something if, obviously we've had a lot of trees down. If something happened the night before the ride, hopefully we could get somebody out there to cut it. But anyway, we try to keep it the same. It has not been, the route we use this year hasn't been the route every year. It was the same last year and I think before, but it's evolved a little bit, and you see what works and how far out you want to go and what riders like, and you try to, accommodate the riders as well as listen to law enforcement agencies and take their advice as well. So
how do we sign up?
You can go to bikesignup.com or runsignup.com. Obviously, it's a bike ride. It's not a race. We will have an event management company on hand. It's not timed, but we call it the Natchez Trace Century Ride. You can go to bikesignup.com, search Natchez Trace Century Ride, or you can go to ridgelandms.org, click events, and you can find the link to sign up there.
People who are traveling multiple states are coming from far and wide for this. Are they coming for the sheer, just like having that fitness vacation that so many people sort of tie into these days where they go and vacation and also like run races or ride races? Or is this like a tune-up for them for something else?
It can be both. I mean, it depends on the distance. If, and some people do 100-milers, I mean, maybe every month. Some of us have to train for several months, and that's like our peak. But yeah, like you say, our racecation, it's a ride, but it's, kind of a vacation event. So we have couples that come together and they both ride. But there is a lot going on that weekend.
Like the little tandem bikes?
Well, you could do that, but you could also have your own bike.
That's a great way to taste the marriage.
Now, what are you doing with your hands? No, there is a hand cycle category. Yeah,
okay,
so
where you can sit and do
like adaptive people that, can't use their legs. They can pedal with their hands. So I don't know if we're having them, but that'd be cool.
What about the ones where you sit down and you look relaxed and you're using your legs?
Yeah, recumbent.
Recumbent bikes. So if it has wheels and doesn't have a motor?
Well, basically. Now, there is a class of e-bikes.
Oh, that's for wheel.
So I think class 1 is the one that will only max out at like 20 miles an hour.
Do you have to put in any effort into those bikes?
Yeah, you do. It's essentially assisting your effort. So if you just sit there, it's not doing anything. If you pedal really hard, it's going to pedal really hard with you. It's a pretty cool concept because let's think about it, right? When you were talking about Luke Skywalker becomes public domain, around that time, I'm not going to be riding a bike very well. So maybe an e-bike could be, the option to get me around the neighborhood or whatever it might be. So
it's that in between like an electric, I guess, scooter or something that's fully motorized and just walking, or a regular bike. You still have to put in. I didn't realize you had to still put in like real effort. I thought it was more like you turn it, like it's for looks.
Right. We call it pedal assist. So it's going to match your effort. But yeah, we'll have a lot of different riders, ages, bikes, demographic.
Whatever it may be. So. All right. Y'all stick with us. We got more with Ben McDonald with Ridgeland's Recreation and Parks coming up next. We also hope you know that you can always find us on that local SuperTalk Mississippi radio station. And don't forget about watching us when you're on your computer or your mobile device. Just head on over to SuperTalk TV. We are continuing our conversation with Ben McDonald. He is with Ridgeland's Recreation and Parks. They got their big Natchez Trace Century Ride coming up May 4th. But, Ben, I want to talk a little bit about the growing popularity of the different, outside sports here in Mississippi. I think everybody knows a 5K that, when running and 5Ks and then 10Ks and then marathons kind of blew up, then it felt like triathlons had its moment, and then people just went to bike riding's having its moment, and now you feel like people are getting off trail, from off trail running to even off trail biking. What do you call that? What's that called? Gravel something.
Yeah, mountain biking.
Mountain biking. So do you see that? Do y'all see that in terms of more people are interested in those type of events here in our state?
I think so, and I think part of that is just to be outside. And I'm biased from what I do, and because I'll see people doing the things that I'm doing, but around the Natchez Trace we have the multi-use trail. That's, you can go end to end and back 20 miles, ride a bike, or and you can ride with your family and that sort of thing. And of course we have mountain bike trails in Ridgeland, so that I see that.
Where are those?
They are west of town, about say a couple of miles west of Renaissance.
Does that just mean that it's off pavement?
Right. So if you say mountain bike trails, typically...
Because my first thought was, where's the mountain in Mississippi? But that's the type of bike, not necessarily where you're going.
You could say Mount Woodall. But,
well, I guess true, yeah.
But right, that's a good point, because when mountain biking started, it was in the mountains of California. But it's a pretty good climb. You'd be surprised. There's a nice overlook, and if you're not in shape for it, it's hard to make it to the top. I'm talking about the Ridgeland mountain bike trails, this climb out there. But so that's our Tri-County Mountain Bike Association, local mountain bike club, and I'm a part of that as well. So they maintain those trails as well as other trails around the area, and Brandon, Clinton, even the Noxubee trails out in Louisville. So, but yeah, we were talking about trail running is growing, but yeah, 5Ks are still a big thing. I think didn't we just have the lily pad race Saturday night? And that's always a big one here in Ridgeland. And I think the good thing about a 5K is, it's kind of like a gateway drug. People can say, well, I can probably do a 5K. And then if they like it, keep doing them or bump up, or, hey, maybe just do your own thing. And that's okay. You don't have to race, right? We were talking about exercising for fun. You can just do your own thing. But I think, in Mississippi, we have great areas to just be outside, exercising, getting fresh air, putting the phones down, kind of decompressing.
When you're talking about city development, and you're thinking about even economic development, you talk about your Mayor McGee and what a proponent he is for healthy lifestyle. I think even your tags there in Ridgeland have it soar. If you build it into your infrastructure, y'all have proven that they will come, in terms, and that your community will be more active from the trails. And I know not every community in Mississippi has the opportunity to put in the extensive trail system that's there, for the Natchez Trace and all. But I feel like even out in Brandon, when they built the amphitheater, then they built out back out of it. They built the trails and things, and seen tremendous use out of it. And so when you build these things into your community, or you hear about your associations within your communities building these things out, they work. They bring people in.
They bring people in, get people out, and I might be speaking above my head, out of my area of expertise, but y'all probably know here at SuperTalk, a lot of the link that I read was on SuperTalk, the Outdoor Stewardship Trust Fund, I may have said that wrong, is helping communities to get money for trails, right? They're going to add an extender to the Brandon Quarry trails. They're going to add an extender over at the reservoir. They're growing the NICA high school and junior high mountain bike league. So in Mississippi, we have several mountain bike leagues that help kids junior high school age learn to ride, learn to compete.
That sounds terrifying. I'm sure it's a lot of fun, but something about going down a mountain
it's so much
with
fun.
Nothing but a helmet on a little piece of metal.
We haven't even talked about our BMX track in Ridgeland, which I got to ride on recently. It's kind of like fantasy camp. You have these adults that go play in the major league fantasy camp thing. But I had a bike that I took on the Mag Ridge BMX trails, and that's a lot of fun. So
when I think BMX, Ben, I'm thinking more of Tony Hawk inside and doing the little ramps and things. Is this an actual gravel or dirt trail? Or is it an indoor facility?
You're probably thinking more like freestyle. So
Yes.
we're close, but yeah, it's
but not.
not exactly.
Not on target.
So it's a combination of dirt and pavement. At the track in Ridgeland, they have paved berms, which are the big banked turns, and then the dirt is the straightaways. And you have, little bitty kids, adults. It's a cool family sport as well. So
I don't see me and my husband joining in on that with my kids, but I would totally support my kids if they wanted to give that a try.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, it's a good family sport. Kind of like, 5Ks, right? Everybody can do a 5K.
Skateboarding is actually growing in Mississippi. I know on the Mississippi Gulf Coast and I want to say Tupelo or area maybe, there's already sort of efforts for communities to sort of make designated spots for that to also give those who are interested in it somewhere specifically to go than necessarily just choosing public places to do it. And I think that's kind of cool as well.
Yeah, and I don't know much about that specifically. Yeah. However, some of the skate parks can double as bike parks, and you're seeing with these grants that are being sent out that bike parks can be built with access to skateboarders and maybe even scooters, different things. Again, all about being outdoors, whatever that thing is for you. If it's walking, in the woods, hiking on the paved trail, riding a bike, get out there and do it.
Well, what you're reminding us too, Ben, is that when we think of recreation and parks, which if I'm correct, most of your municipalities have that, which you're a special events coordinator for Ridgelands, how much y'all are doing behind the scenes on a daily basis that we don't necessarily see or think about. We just get to enjoy the efforts of you guys' hard work.
Right. I don't know how many, but I don't think there are a lot of cities that have a special events coordinator. So I'm lucky that Ridgeland does because I get to do it. But then we get to put on cool events like the Balloon Glow at North Park, a trunk or treat event, of course the Century Ride. We have Christmas events with the parade and Easter egg hunt and that sort of thing. So that's a lot of fun. I get to learn about things that I might not have known about before. But obviously the bike ride is.
Do you ever get a day off, Ben, to do some of these events now that you are having to put on all the things that you used to come out for?
Oh yeah, for
you
sure.
Shoot yourself in your foot?
No. I get to participate in different events, whether it's here in Jackson or around the area, that sort of thing. So yeah, still involved, and I live close to the reservoir as well. So we got out on the reservoir on a paddleboard yesterday, so that's a lot of fun.
And the paddleboard yoga is a thing too that's picking up.
I don't know if my balance is that good.
You go down a mountain bike at full speed, whatever, you won't try to stand on one leg. That makes absolutely no sense. When you think about though, growing different economic growth or jobs, I know of a lady whose full-time job in Natchez, she makes primarily most of her money during this season. She takes bikers from either Natchez to Nashville and drops them off, and they ride back, and then she'll pick up other riders in Nashville and then bring them back to Natchez, and then they ride home. And so that is one of her full-time gigs during the spring and early fall, and that's all she's doing is driving them up, dropping them down, driving them back, dropping them down, so they can make 400 miles or something stupid like that?
444. It makes sense because so many people want to ride either Natchez to Nashville or reverse. I talked to a guy today. He called and was looking for a place to camp. He was doing the whole thing. And he said, I'm actually going to be coming through there on May the 4th. I said, well, just sign up for the Century Ride, do 25 miles with us and then keep on going down to Natchez.
How long, if you are a above average, mediocre biker, is 100 miles?
How long?
I know how long
it's 100 miles.
Stop! How long does it take you?
For the record, that was Will.
4,200.
That was Will.
It's not the first time he's called me out. But how long will it take you?
To do it.
Do it, yes.
So I'd say I'll start with the fastest. I'll say they can do it in 4 hours. 6 might be average, 6 hours.
Gotcha.
I'm kind of guessing. 6 and a half.
So if they do the 440, if they're going from Natchez to Nashville, are they stopping and camping somewhere, or is that a 2-day ride?
It depends on who you are. So
for the average person.
average, oh yeah, that'd be at least a week, I'd say, if not 10 days.
Making me feel better.
Yeah, you'll see a lot of cyclists. I say a lot. Some cyclists on the trace, and they're just loaded down with bags on their bike. And
that makes it harder.
Clothes, food, drink, hopefully a tent, sleeping bag. And there are some bicycle-only campsites on the trace.
Remind us to share the road.
Share the road. change lanes to pass, please.
And if we want to sign up for the Natchez Trace Century Ride or anything you guys do over at Ridgeland's Recreation and Parks, how do we do that?
You can go to ridgelandms.org, click on events, and you can find Natchez Trace Century Ride details there. And we hope to see you May the 4th.
All righty, you guys stick with us. We got more for you coming up next.